I'll tell you that Jacque, that guy, that shirt and tie guy. Anyway, so I'm not going to do much talking because, I don't know much about funding and everything. However, let me just, well, better yet, before we even get into it, let me ask the question real quick. Who would like to scale and grow their business? Who would like to scale and grow their business? If that's you, I want you to type in me. If you'd like to scale and grow your business, I want you to type in me. There we go. That's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. That is the engagement that I love to see. All right. Okay, so let me just go ahead real quick and jump over to the PowerPoint. And again, if there are people that you know that are in an e-commerce business or again any other type of business, hey, tell them, look, you need to get on this webinar. You need to listen to this information. You need to find out what's going on because sometimes, and I know from personal experience, sometimes we just need that little bit of whatever you want to call it, extra capital funding or whatever to help us to get over the hump, and then it's lights out because we will make it happen. So let me go ahead and jump over to the PowerPoint slides here, and let me hit, okay, here we go. So Jacque T. Morris, I already told you a little bit about that guy there. He is I is him, the guy in the shirt and tie, in association with TFH. Tonight, we're going to present and share with you funding options for your business. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, funding options for your business. They say there's a saying that goes, where there's a will, there's a way. And that's the bottom line. Regardless of what your current circumstances are, this is information that you will at least be able to bank and have within your resources. If you're not able to move forward and apply it now, maybe later. So again, I encourage you, hey, stay to the end. Now, TFH, the funding helpers. This was, a quick snapshot, if you will, of their website. So let's go ahead and move forward. Our special guest this evening, one is the lovely and the beautiful Miss Deborah Burris. I know she's probably going to be like, Jacque, you are just absolutely, anyway. And then we also have Mr. Ron Samuels and then Mr. Tom Dion this evening. So we have three special guests that we're going to hear from. And again, ladies and gentlemen, please, 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 please get out a pen, get out a piece of paper, because you're going to hear some information that's going to be communicated to you via the audio. And then I believe Mr. Tom Dion is going to come out this evening by means of a PowerPoint. I'm going to pass him over the screen, and he's also going to share some information that you'll be able to receive audibly as well as visually speaking. So for the moment and right now, you have to pay close attention. So let me find our special guest. Let me find them here and let me unmute them. Let's see. So give me just a moment here. All right. So, okay. There is, uh-oh. Uh-oh. All right, so Miss Burris, it looks like you dialed in on the phone. I need to have you hold on, let me see here. I think you have, yeah, I'm pretty sure you have to be on a computer. Let's see. Let me see something. Let me see something. Let me see if I can bring you in as an organizer, if that'll make a difference. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. All right. Let me see something here. I don't know if, no, that's not going to make a difference. All right. There it is. There it is. Miss Burris, can you hear me? Hello? Hello, hello, hello. Okay. I don't hear Miss Burris right now. Let me see here if I can find Mr. Ron. Okay, let's see here. All right, there's Mr. Ron. Mr. Ron, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I hear you loud and clear. We have
Okay.
to somehow get Miss Deborah. She needs to be on a computer because I know she's probably listen. Well, I'm sure she's listening because I see her on there. However, I can't hear her, so we need to get that communicated to her. And then,
Sure. Let me
okay,
see if I can bring her in.
okay, and then
Hold on a second.
Tom, okay, and Mr. Thomas Dion, can you hear me, sir?
Present, yes, sir.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So give us just a second, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to see if we can get Miss Burris, see if we can get her audio, or if we can patch her in. You know, hey, we're going to do something here. Okay. Miss Burris, Mr. Ron is calling you. Maybe.
Yeah, I switched it to speaker. Ron, can you hear me?
I can hear you. You want me to merge it in?
Let me see. Can you guys hear me now?
What'd you say?
Jacque, Ron, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, got you. It sounds like you're in the middle of a thunderstorm, but that's okay. We're going to get through this. Okay, all right. Miss Burris, if you'll go ahead and speak up, just say testing, testing, 1, 2.
Phone with Ron. Testing, testing.
Uh-oh. Let's see. You were really, really clear.
Just 1 second. Ron, can you hear me?
Yes.
Trying to decide which one should I be using, my
Okay,
speaker?
right there. You're perfectly fine. You're crystal clear. We're ready to rock and roll. You ready?
All right, before I hang up my phone, can you hear me now? I'm speaking into my speaker from my computer.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to disconnect from my phone because it's too much noise. Okay, Jacque, Ron,
Yes.
can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly clear.
Super, super. Well, wow, I am so excited, and I'm thanking everybody for taking some time out to hear from us tonight. How many people do we have on the phone, on the line so far, Jacque?
Let's see. We have, let me see here. Looks like we have about 57 here.
Okay, all right, that's always a good crowd no matter what the number is. My name is Deborah Burris, one of the owners of the fundinghelpers.com. My partner is Ron Samuels, who's also on the line. And one of the things that I want to first say is that in this time today, in terms of economic news and financial banking systems changing on a dime, I've been communicating with Jacque for probably the last couple of months saying we've got to get this information out there. I'm almost in the same boat as you guys. I just started the e-commerce business myself. And as the many people that I've been speaking to, they've been asking me to put something on and get information out there of what's possible. And so one of the first places I wanted to stop was with Jacque T. Morris. I know that he has a great following and only wants to get the best information out there to them. So that's what we wanted to create tonight. So I'm not going to hold up the crowd, but Tom, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, what we want to do is Jacque put up the site just briefly for the fundinghelpers.com. Tom Dion is our financing facilitator, lack of a better word, or banker. But he is who Ron and I are going to allow to really lay out the nuts and bolts of what's possible for funding and growing your business in the most simplistic way. It may not be the approach that you may have normally thought of approaching this part of the business and growing your business with, but it sure does work in this environment today. And I think from a creative standpoint, that's what we mostly need, something that is going to work in today's environment. So I won't spend any more time. I'd like to hand it over to Tom Dion, who's working with us very closely with our clients and will share some very detailed information. So please take notes, pay attention, stay to the end. No question is a silly question. It's a question for growth for yourself, your family, your business. The hard work that you're already doing, let's go ahead and extend that. Tom Dion, go ahead and take it from here, please.
Yeah, not a problem.
Hey, real quick, Tom, before you get started, would you like for me to pass you the screen now?
Yeah, I've got a couple of screens here, so I don't know which one it'll grab, but just go ahead and pass it, and then I'll make it work here.
Okay. All right. So I'm passing the screen over to you. And if you'll just accept that, you will then be the presenter and everybody will be able to see what's on your screen. All right, very well. We can see your PowerPoint there.
Okay, so you're on the PowerPoint one. That's the one to look at.
Okay.
Give me 1 second here.
Now I was going to say if you could hit F5 and make it cover the whole screen, or maybe you have another way to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was putting this together today. It kind of blows me away how simple everything is. It comes down to just a few things to get funding. You know, with fundinghelpers.com, I think the biggest thing that people need to understand is we don't do just one type of funding. We do every type of funding that there possibly could be. So I take somebody in and I tell them, based on your situation, this is what you're looking at. And when it's all said and done, it comes down to we call it the 3 C's. You need one of these things, and if you don't have one of them, just calm down for a second until I can help you get to the point where you have one. But you have to have credit, cash flow, or collateral. I was really going to try to come up with a hard number. I don't like just saying 99% because I really believe it's like 99.8%. If you don't have one of these 3 things, getting money isn't going to help. And some of the times I think the biggest thing, the value I can bring to people is just letting them know there isn't some kind of magical bank on the hill that just hands out cash because you have a good idea or anything. You have to get one of these 3 things, and my company helps people learn which of these 3 things they have or they might be very close to having, and helping them get to the point where they get money. I deal with a lot of e-commerce type people. One of my business partners from many years ago does a lot of Amazon stuff, so I'm very familiar with the needs of those people. I come from a real estate background. I mainly do real estate flipping and deal with a lot of real estate flippers, so just know that when I go through whatever I'm about to say, it's hard for me to divorce myself from real estate, but I do, what we do can work for any type of business under the sun, basically. So if there's an option for you, I can show you what the option is, but it's normally skewed towards getting cash for real estate. I do people that are, like I say, in an e-commerce world where it's totally different. I mean, you guys have cash flow every single day, where, in real estate you have a few days a year. So there's a different way to do it every time. But I don't care who you are or what the deal is, it comes down to one of these 3 things. You need good credit, cash flow, or collateral. And I really put these in order. Credit is the first, best, easiest, quickest, most realistic way. Cash flow just means, do you have an existing business that is making money that, cash flowing isn't just I bring in money every month into a business account. It's I'm constantly positive. I'm bringing in more money than I'm putting out, and I show positive cash flow. And then collateral, obviously, if you have something that some rich guy is willing to take if you don't pay, you put up collateral, and it's usually real estate, although we can do anything from real estate, planes, helicopters, boats, whatever. If you have one of these 3 things, you can get money. If you don't, there's just very few options. Credit is when the rubber hits the road, you'll hear all kinds of stuff out there, and I like to tell people every option under the sun for one big, huge reason. Like I said, you need to just realize there isn't some magical thing right on the corner. You're going to have one of these things, and credit is pretty much the one that's going to solve 95% of those problems. We look for like a 680 credit score or better. This is the most common type. You're going to get the lowest rates out there. I pretty much flip houses this way, and a lot of my people do. I have people that fund their e-commerce stuff all day long. I pay under 4% unsecured for my money, and that, when I say lowest rates out there for crafty folks, I'll go over that in a second. Some of the requirements are, if you have stated income, that helps, but that works. But if you have verified income, it's much better. It doesn't mean you're dead in the water. Entrepreneurs across the board don't have good credit and don't have verifiable income. There's still a way, so don't get discouraged. But when you have some of these things, this is what it really takes to get funding when the rubber hits the road. This is the safest type of funding because you're not putting anything up other than a signature. This type of funding, we get people usually 25 to 250 grand. It starts with a 680 credit score. If you're going to get the big numbers, you're going to have higher credit than that. I've, in another life, had a credit repair company where I've had tens of thousands of customers in credit repair, and they're really, I don't care where you're at in your life, you either have good credit or you should be getting to the point where you have good credit, or it's going to be an uphill battle. So almost all my customers, all of our customers, we can't help get exactly what we want right away. But, what we do is kind of build towards that. So if you don't have this, it's not rocket science how to get it. It's actually a lot easier than a lot of people think. And like I said, I've done it quite a long time, and we can help people get to that point. The only way you're going to get this type of money is by using multiple lines. I always tell people it'd be great if I could go out and just get people a $150,000 line of credit, but the fact of the matter is it just doesn't exist. If you're in these types of businesses, you're going to have to piece it together with multiple lines, but we actually use it as a positive thing that can, you're really pitting banks against themselves. The only reason that we're borrowing money, I personally borrowed for under, like 4%. The only reason that happens is because I use multiple places and I kind of pit them against each other. If you're in Entrepreneurville, maybe you don't have good credit. I just wanted to put in there really quick because I've seen it so many times. It's like a never-ending cycle. I can promise you right now, when somebody asks me how do I, my credit isn't great, how do I get to the point where I can get this type of credit, I can tell you right now beyond any worry that this isn't 100% accurate, if you can just go 1 year without getting anything negative on your report and maintain 3 positive trade lines, you're somebody I can help. 1 year sounds like a long time, but people think it's some long, hard road. If you can just go 1 year, just keep it on the rails for 1 year. Don't tell anybody to shove it for a year, whether it's a cable company or a cell phone company or something like that. Like, all I'm saying is some of these things, as much as I'd love to say we can just, have our bounty tomorrow, sometimes you have to plant, water, and wait. And I help people do that too because I've done it for many years. And there's a lot of people that aren't in this credit situation might run around and try to find some kind of shortcut, but there isn't one. And if we can wait 1 year and just get to the point where our credit's better, you can do it just by not screwing up for 1 year and maintaining positive credit for 1 year. I've not seen anybody not have a 680 credit score that does that. And I always tell people, if you have a bunch of negative credit right now, go to skybluecredit.com. I'm not affiliated with them, but that's just who I go to. It's cheap. And, option one is always credit. If you have credit, you have money. Good credit is an asset just like a house sitting on a hill. If you know somebody in your family, good credit is an asset just like a car in the driveway. I mean, I can take a good credit score and turn it into a couple $100,000 without any encumbering of any property or anything. So just keep in mind, if you have good credit, there's a million ways to get money out of it, and know that that's money. I'd say 50% of my people, they don't even have good credit, they have entrepreneur credit. And what we do, they might bring in a credit partner and strike a deal with them, and I can get them super cheap money to where the credit partner can be paid and the entrepreneur can do what they need to do. And if you're in the e-commerce thing, everybody obviously needs money. You need to fund stuff now so you can sell it, and even if it's a 2-week time lag, you still need to fund the money up front. Credit is the number one option. If you have 680 type credit, we can help you right out of the gate, and we'll get to that in the end as far as what you need to do to utilize that. And we have a system that you don't have to spend any money up until we put money in your hands. It doesn't cost you $1. And even if you're not right there, we can help you understand how to get to that point. So just know that credit's number one. The second option is obviously cash flow funding. It's not just merchant cash advances. If you know what those are expensive, and I have access to those, but I rarely do them. There's a new thing that's just popped up where if you have a PayPal account or a business account or any type of account that's bringing in money, if you're already bringing in money, that's an asset, just like a good credit score. You know, the reality is you might read that you can go lower, but you can go down to a 600 credit score, but when the rubber hits the road, it's like the moons of Venus have to be aligned to get money if you have horrible credit, whether you have cash flow as an asset or not. But if you have money come into a business bank account, that's an asset, just like your credit score. It's worth money, and we can get money for it. I mean, we're getting loans down to 8%, which is unheard of. So it's not just the super expensive cash advance type things you might know. The market is evolving right now and realizes people are paying these cash advances. My God, let's give them cheaper money, you know, and that's an asset just like credit. It's the second of the three ways to get money. You have to have one of the three or there's no money. So I always tell people this is the old school. People always like to ask me, like, what do I need to get this? I mean, I can promise you this is where it comes down to real lenders and real people thinking, is this guy robbing Peter to pay Paul or whatever? If you're doing that in a business where you're trying to keep your head above water, and I see them all the time, they sniff it out and it doesn't make sense. So I can't really say like you have to have positive tax returns, you have to have this, that, or the other. You really just need to have a bona fide way to take the money and make sense and use it. If you're just trying to plug holes, it doesn't make sense. So no matter what rules you ever hear about this, everybody should know that if you really have something that makes sense, people will lend on that, and it comes to common sense. But I would say the best candidates, they make 20,000. They bring in 20,000 a month. That's just totally gross. If you're moving forward, you should always file your business and your personal tax returns separate. I'm telling you right now, if you show, and this is a big thing that I know when I tell people this, they wish, where the hell were you a year or 2 years ago? If you file a tax return, I'm telling you, if you file a tax return, business or personal, and you see that you're filing, like on personal, on line 37 of the 1040, your after expense profit, that's what they consider your money. So if you file it if you file it as a $1 loss, you put yourself in a category B. If you file as a $1 profit, you're in category A. File a $1 profit, even if you have some losses to claim. Just do what I do. Like I personally, it's 2015. For 2014 and 2013, I'll always show profits. I don't care. I'll just pay the government the money and whatever. But as the third year goes by, I amend my taxes. I remember those expenses I didn't have. So no matter what I do in my life, my last 2 years, if you look at my last 2 years, it looks great. If you look at my amended taxes, it's a little worse, and it's kind of like a little secret. Like, I would never take these big losses. I would pay the money now and always show a profit. These are the little things that if you're growing a business and you're starting off, it's not worth it. Show a $1 profit, because as soon as you show a $1 loss, you're in a different category. Totally can help people with a $1 loss. I don't know that I can get you the 8% deal, but this is about giving people information that's valuable as you grow your business. Just show a $1 profit, because everybody looks at that different. And the cash flowing thing is option 2. Like I said, these are in order. I think credit is the best thing, because you sign a piece of paper, they give you money. If you don't pay them, they send you an angry letter. That's not what we plan to do, but that's the best situation. I prefer that over than if you don't pay somebody, they take your house. So, if you don't have that, cash flowing is a good thing that a lot of e-commerce people have, and it's an asset and about. I mean, if you bring in 20 grand a month, I've literally seen people get $300,000 in funding between 8 and 12%, and that's if you have all these things in line. If you want to get a quote through us later, whether win, lose, or draw, we can at least guide you in that direction, because the real things to me in this world aren't things that happen just like that, overnight. You have to do a little planning ahead of time, and I think the time is now to make sure that you have the opportunities to get money down the road, even if you aren't in the position to get them now. The last thing is collateral. I'll be totally honest. This is like finding a unicorn. I mean, if you own real estate and you own it free and clear, you pretty much can look at the collateral option. If you don't, the collateral option is no good. And even if you are in that situation, you're going to spend if you can verify your income, like you can show pay stubs and tax returns, you can use your collateral to get good money. If you can't do that, like the rest of the sane world, or there's already a lien on the, you're pretty much, it's just not an asset anymore. I mean, before the crunch, second position type, where people would do like a second position on a piece of real estate or anything out there. Now they don't do it. They just don't believe in it. And I literally have people with millions of dollars worth of collateral, and they can't really access it because it's just hard to access. So the moral of the story is the first two options are the best ones. If you have collateral and you own it free and clear, you do have options. I mean, even if it's a boat or a house or something, or equipment, there's ways to get money on it, and we can help you do that. It's just, if you want to be in the 99% of ways of things that work, it's going to be the first few things. So, when it's all said and done, sometimes I think that might sound simplistic, but searching high and low, I turn over every rock and look under, go over every mountain or whatever. When it all comes down to it, it's that simple. And I think awesome things are just simple things. And one of those three things has to happen for you to grow your money. And I run over a lot of people that it's not necessarily, it just doesn't seem fun. Everybody wants what they want right now, but you turn around and it'll be 6 months from now, and most people, I do not run across people that in 6 months can't be in a position to where they can start dictating what they want. And our company can help you do that, basically. So if you're somebody who meets any of those criteria or wants to figure out where they're at, I would strongly suggest come here. It doesn't cost you $1. We have to spend time and energy, and it's part of our gig, where if you come here and fill out a quote form or you call this number, basically all it involves is give us a copy of your credit report. If you're a person that's relying on a 680 plus credit score, or you have somebody in your life that has a 680, if you have a copy of your credit report, we usually say credit check total or something like that. If you have that, send that to us and let us tell you what to do. If you're somebody who already has the cash flow and wants to try to access that money, we just need 3 months worth of bank statements. But it all starts with this page. If you just fill this out, you can get totally free advice. We're pointing the right direction. I learned a long time ago, just give people good information and tell them where they need to go, and it all seems to work out in the end. So I thoroughly enjoy helping people that want to be helped and aren't trying to, they understand, like, this is going to take a little work, let's figure it out. So whatever your situation is, if you come here and fill this out, I can tell you, usually within about 15 minutes, everything you need to know about what you need to do. And that's stuff that, it's one of those moments where if you could just go back in time, that I wish if I'd have known now what I known then, I will tell you what you should have known then. If I can see a credit report or bank statements, I can tell you how to build something that lenders want to lend to. And, that's what our business is. And if that can be of value to somebody, I totally suggest going here and letting us see what your situation is, and I guarantee you I'll give you something, putting you in the right direction where you will at least have a path and a plan to get to where you need to go. So that's what our company does. It's pretty simple and straightforward. There's no other magical solution or wand to get past it. You're going to have to get one of those three things, and if there's a will, I'll show you the way, and fill this out. We'll get back on the phone with you and help you however we can help you, and give you the information you need to, get the money that you want right now, or, at least get set up in the very near future on how to get the money you need to get. So if there's any questions, or I don't know the next step here, but that's pretty much what it breaks down to. If you guys can if any of that fits anybody, I suggest coming to fundinghelpers.com. I will personally make sure that you have the information and knowledge you need to get to where you need to get. And, in the end, it pretty much always takes a chunk of money to get to the next step. That's what our business is. We help you get that chunk of money no matter what it is. And if we can help out in that regard, please let us do so.
Excellent, excellent. Definitely appreciate you coming out and sharing that information there, Tom. Ron, did you have anything that you wanted to add to our discussion this evening?
much covered the process.
Excuse me?
Tom pretty much covered the process, and I would just encourage people to go to the website, fundinghelpers.com, or give us a call and let us help you.
Okay, cool. Let's do this then. Tom, if you could pass me the screen back, and yeah, if you could pass me the screen back, if you can look over there on the right-hand side of the screen, there's a little box. You should be able to put the cursor over my name, just right-click, and then just make me the presenter.
Okay, give me 1 second here.
And what we're getting ready to do, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to transition into Q&A here. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. So okay, there we
Is that
go.
right?
All right. Yep, I got it. So let me see here. Give me just a
Learn it on the
moment.
fly.
Okay. All right, cool. So everybody should be able to see my screen. Okay. So in case you didn't catch the website, I put it here on the slides, fundinghelpers.com, fundinghelpers.com. And if you guys could give me the what is the phone number? Because I'm going to put that in a chat for everybody.
Ron, can you give out the phone number, please?
Sure. The phone number is 866-572-4949.
Okay. 4949. Okay, 1-866-572-4949. I'm sending that over to everybody. Everybody should have that. And again, we have the website there on the screen, fundinghelpers.com. Okay. All right. So, is there any questions about any of the information that was shared? Was that some really good value? I mean, did you pick up some really good points? Because I know I took a few notes over here, and I learned a couple things myself that basically I've been doing wrong, or better yet, I'm just going to do more right. All right. Cool. Again, did you get some value out of here this evening? Okay. Okay, cool. All right. Excellent. Okay. Valuable. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and have the questions. We have, okay. All right. Okay. Let me see here. Okay. So I have Mr. Tom, Mr. Ron, and Miss Deborah. So let me just go ahead and go through these questions real quick. Um, all right. Will accessing my credit score create a hard hit? I am interested. My credit is about what you said, but unsure. I would like to get rid of high interest credit cards. So who'd like to answer that question?
I can take that.
Okay.
No, we don't pull your credit. Basically, if you go to a site like creditchecktotal.com, or if you're already using one, like something that shows all 3 credit bureaus and what you have, that's not an inquiry to your credit score. We will look at it, and then I will tell you exactly, like, this is what needs to happen. So that's not an inquiry. If we end up doing stuff, there'll be inquiries, but they're the most overrated thing on the planet, and I won't get into that right now, but basically, to understand where you're at, from my position, just get a credit report from one of these credit monitoring sites, and I can tell you what what your situation is. It's not gonna cost you. 90% of my customers have better credit after they leave me than when they don't. And the ones that don't, they're basically using so much money, making some other type of money, that their credit isn't their main concern. It's the profits they're making. So I would never worry about an adverse effect to your credit based on what we're going to do, period.
Excellent. Thank you there. Okay, so does a bankruptcy hinder getting funds?
Yes. I mean, it doesn't mean, that it's said and done. I mean, when the bankruptcy was discharged, if we're outside of 2 years, we're starting to look okay. I mean, believe it or not, and don't go file bankruptcy tomorrow, but there's certain rules in certain places where you can only file one bankruptcy so often. So some lenders I know look at a bankruptcy as like, hey, he can't file bankruptcy for another blank years, and it, it, it's not the end of the world, but yes, of course it's going to hinder you. If you tell other people to, if you don't, bankruptcy is going to hinder to some respect, but my big thing is I don't want to say anything that makes people just throw in the towel, because there's no human being under the sun right now that can't get to the right spot with tweaks that are so simple that you would be like, why am I not doing this? So, if it was discharged in the last 2 years, you have immediate chance for something. If it wasn't discharged in the last 2 years, you should be doing something today to get in a position where you can get what you want in the near future instead of just waiting. Waiting is not a strategy. You need to be proactive in it.
Excellent, excellent. And I definitely appreciate that because, a lot of times just as entrepreneurs in general, we sit back and we wait on things to happen. And that's really good information because, I mean, just the perspective that you put as far as the value that having good credit or even the value of, you said money coming into a business account. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Somebody has feedback. Ah, what? Uh-oh. Okay. All right. Okay, so the value that good credit is an asset, and I watched my dad for years. He's had exceptional credit. He doesn't deal with credit cards, and literally he can go just about anywhere and get anything that he wants. So that was good information. And again, ladies and gentlemen, definitely be proactive. Maybe you're not in a position right now to move forward with the program. However, I'm going to strongly and highly suggest that you get in contact with this group here, thefundinghelpers.com, so that way you can see exactly where you're at and what you need to be doing to get to where you want to be. Okay, so our next question, let's see here. What if you want to borrow 5,000, not 25,000? There's a question.
Well, I mean, then you, I mean, we charge a pretty small back end fee, so 25,000 is the least that we'll go out and get for people. But I mean, I suppose everything's depending on your situation. We could probably help out anybody, but I would never borrow exactly what I wanted to use. I mean, you never want to. One of the big things about credit is you don't want to utilize all of it, and you know, depending. I mean, I would tell someone like that, send in your stuff, and we could probably come up with something that will work for you. But the reality is you probably should always try to borrow a big chunk of money so that you don't use everything you need, because credit utilization is a big part of your score, and if you want to keep it up, you should always try to try to get more than you need. So we could probably help someone out like that, but I would say get your report in, and if sometimes getting someone $5,000 is pretty simple and straightforward, and
Right.
I don't mind helping people out in this situation at all, just to hopefully build some future loyalty down the road.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. So again, ladies and gentlemen, hey, whatever your circumstances are, you go to fundinghelpers.com and you get to put them to work for you. So, what does skybluecredit.com do? That's a question.
They simply dispute, there's two, well, it's another 20-minute thing here, but there's two types of credit problem people. People that have bad credit have one of two problems. Either they have just a bunch of negative stuff that's re-reporting every month, and those are the type of people that need Sky Blue. If you have more than 6 negative things on your credit, I tell people, go to Sky Blue. They charge like $50 to $70 a month. I'm totally not affiliated with them. And they will just hammer away at what's negative. Normally you'll get between 30 and 60% of the stuff deleted is the normal thing. I've run one of these companies for many years, and it's if they're not willing to spend 10 cents to verify the information, I say get it deleted, okay? and then you can start dealing with what's left on your credit to get it to where it needs to be what a lender wants to see. Sky Blue is just your other option, which is a good one if you want to write this down, is creditinfocenter.com. If you're the do-it-yourself type person, everything that anybody could ever do for you is at creditinfocenter.com. And I just, looking at hundreds of people that just have bad credit and think they're screwed forever, it just kills me. That's why I get into this, because, I mean, you are 1 year away. There's not a person I've ever met that's not 1 year away from having good credit. You just have to keep it on the rails for 1 year, and Sky Blue can expedite that. And the other type of person that doesn't have negative credit, or that, you know, if you don't have a bunch of negative stuff yet you don't have credit we can go out and get a lender, you just need positive stuff. 65% of your score is your last 12 months worth of payments. So if you don't have a bunch of negative stuff, don't even worry about the Sky Blue credits of the world. You don't need to dispute anything. You need to just add positive credit, which, you know, if I see someone's credit report, I guide them in that direction. I mean, I help people get money for that I've talked to a year ago I totally forgot about, because, you know, it's not that hard. I would use Sky Blue if you have negative stuff. If you don't have negative stuff, I would just get new positive credit, which is kind of what we can do. So Sky Blue just helps you if you have a bunch of negative stuff. Other than that, I wouldn't worry about them.
Okay, and that's Sky, SKYBLUE, credit,
Yeah.
CREDIT, credit.com, right? Skybluecredit.com?
Yeah, I believe that's, but if they're so big, just Google Sky Blue Credit. It'll be the first thing that pops up, and you'll see them.
Excellent. All right, here's a good question. Are nonprofits able to participate in the program?
No. I mean, for practical, no, I'm really not. I mean, you know, if somebody that has a nonprofit, even if you have a business, here's the big thing. If you have a business that is trying to get funded, like, everything requires a personal guarantee these days. If you find anybody that tells you otherwise, they're completely BSing you. If you're going to have to put a personal guarantee. So in a way, yes, you could get money with a nonprofit, but only a guy with good credit and a good personal guarantee can get money with a nonprofit. So, but the nonprofit itself is not, you know, there is no entity that's going to get money without a good personal guarantee, period.
Makes complete total sense. Okay, so the next question is, where should we get our credit report from? I know there's a number of different places. Since you're the expert, I'll let you go ahead and answer that question.
Creditchecktotal.com. It costs $1. So that their reports are just ones I'll admit I'm used to looking at, and it's very convenient to look at those. At creditchecktotal.com. It costs $1 for like a trial or whatever. You get a full page credit report. You can send us the login, or you can just download the PDF, send it to info@fundinghelpers.com, or actually send it to uw@fundinghelpers.com as underwriting, uw@fundinghelpers.com. And, you know, depending on the day, normally we can get back to you that day. And if you want to get, I can tell you step by step where you're at. So I would go to creditchecktotal.com and send it to UW for underwriting at fundinghelpers.com, and we'll dissect it for you and give you a kind of synopsis of what you need to do.
Excellent. And then the other site that you said for individuals that maybe didn't want to use Sky Blue Credit, they wanted to go and, I guess, essentially take care of things on their own. That's creditinfocenter.com, correct?
Yes, Credit Info Center, and these are like, you Google them and they'll pop up. Creditinfocenter.com. That place, I mean, it's a huge form. If you really, the best of the best are on that site, and if you want to do it yourself, you'll be surprised. Get on that site and do what they tell you. You'll be good to go.
Excellent. Yeah, I just wrote that one down. I'm going to check that out myself. And again, I have pretty good credit. However, I want excellent credit. Like, I want over 800, you know, or if what's the top credit score, or is there a top? Is 800 or 840? Something like that?
I mean, if you have an 800 credit score, you're not an entrepreneur. I mean, you can't have a good. I always tell people if you have a 800 credit score, you're messing up because you should be at about a 740 credit score and
Ah,
using the difference because that's free money and using that free. If you can't take free money and make money, then you probably should just not be doing any of this. So I always tell people 800 credit score is nothing to want. You can get everything you want with a 740 and a 720 really. I mean, in real estate, you can get everything you want with a 640. So, I mean, you can get those 800s, but you're the only person that has an 800 is the guy who is not utilizing his credit to make any money. I mean,
got it.
honestly, if you get over a 720, you're good to go.
Got it. Got it. Man, see, this is why I love information and I love connecting with other experts in different fields because literally I just learned something that is going to be insanely valuable to me because, I was thinking, hey, just pay everything off, don't owe anybody, get a big bank account, just have this big old huge credit score and be like the man and be like Tarzan beating on my chest. But 740, whoo, that allows me to be the international entrepreneur. So I absolutely love it. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So yeah, excellent, excellent, man. I am in good hands. Good hands. So any more questions, ladies and gentlemen? Again, get your questions answered. Hey, find out what's going on because you know. Regardless of where you're at in your business, again, you have to have a long-term vision. You have to know, like, really what you want your business to be once it's all said and done. And then you have to know the steps that you're going to take or that you plan on taking in order to get there. And the reality is being able to leverage other people's money, OPM, other people's money, and utilize credit and all these other good things that will help you get there much faster. And man, I'm not gonna lie, man, credit card companies, they've helped me out tremendously, but man, they will stick it to you with those high interest rates. So anyway, any more questions? Any more questions? Told you this wasn't gonna be a long webinar. I told you. Any more questions? Come on, put your questions in. Put your questions in. If you didn't think of it, you're gonna think about it and be like, man, I should ask the question. Okay. Okay. All right. Does Credit Karma give the same credit score as the big three credit agencies?
Absolutely not. None of them do. If you're not going to myfico.com, you're not seeing a real credit score. And I wouldn't go to myfico.com, by the way. I think they're horrible. So everything is just a guess, and I believe creditchecktotal.com is the most accurate guess, but at least you're not getting an inquiry to figure out what your credit is. So I would just Credit Karma sucks. I would never use Credit Karma. I would go to creditchecktotal.com or creditreport.com or identityguard.com. But all these companies are basically guessing about your credit score with their own algorithm or whatever. So don't ever take it as like the best way. It's just a good way to gauge where we're at and how to the best thing to do. So you can probably tell I don't like creditkarma.com. I would go to creditchecktotal.com
All right.
before I went.
Cool. Cool. Now, here's another question that I actually wrote down and this popped up. So, for individuals that are either live or watching the recording and they're international, what do you have in place that can help those individuals?
If you have to have an American Social Security number. So to be honest with you, I do not know how it happened, but I have plenty of non-citizens that have that. I don't know. I really don't know the ins and outs of it, but without a Social Security number, and I'm talking about a real one, not a CPN or anything, um, I don't believe there's any way to get any money in that situation. You have to have an American Social Security number, which I get people all the time that are not citizens and do it. I have never really drilled down on it and figured it out. So you just have to have a Social Security number.
All right, so let me ask you this question. And since you said that, do you have individuals that are international? Since you said you have individuals that are not citizens, do you have individuals that are international that have a Social Security number and they're able to effectively get funding?
Um, yeah, I have people that are in the country that have Social Security numbers. That's to my extent, that's what I've seen. they're living here and they have a and I'm really totally ignorant to the process, so forgive me, but for whatever, they're here and they have a green card or something like that, and they get a social and we can get them money. I mean, we don't, it's not the same, but we can still get them a good chunk of money. And a lot of time, I think those people are the most successful people I've run across, because they just, whatever I get them, they tend to really run with it. But I've never had anybody outside of the country do it, but who knows? I mean, for whatever reason, if they get a social security number, I don't care if they're on the moon, they can get money.
I love it. Baby, you can reside on the moon. You can be on the planet Mars. You can be an alien if you have a social security number. We will get
Yeah.
you money. I love it. Oh man. Oh man, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Man, my mind is just churning about all the wonderful possibilities. I knew they existed, however, never really heard them put in this particular way. So again, I'm super excited. So is anybody excited? Is anybody excited about their business and moving forward and leveraging lines of credit? If you are, I want you to type in the chat box excited. I want to know, like, who's excited? Okay, so nobody's excited? Are you kidding me? Like, nobody's excited. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to shut the webinar off since nobody's excited here. Okay, all right, there we go. All right. Excellent, 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 excellent. Okay, the chat box is moving now. Chat box is moving. Okay. Oh, okay. Very well, very well. So some people were pulling their credit reports, which is why they were not able to type. Excellent. Cool, 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 cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, we're at the top of the hour. We're literally, and I mean literally, about to wrap things up. No, there's not anything, for you to buy. No, well, I mean, if you go to the website, again, you're going to submit your information. You get a free inquiry. Again, you get the opportunity to find out where you're at, so that way you can determine what's the best way to move forward. And, again, just totally cool. So, Mr. Tom here has answered all of your questions, and I'm going to assume that that's it. I'm not going to linger on. So I want to thank Ms. Deborah Burris for coming out this evening. I want to thank you, Mr. Tom, for coming out. I want to thank you also there, Mr. Ron. And granted, hey, as with technology, sometimes we have a little technical difficulty. However, as I always implore everyone, just stay on. Just stay to the end. We're going to get it figured out. And the bottom line is that we are here to help you win. So as, I continue to build more relationships and find other individuals that have various skill sets, knowledge, or expertise that I feel are going to be insanely valuable to you to help you to reach your goals, trust me, I'll be doing another webinar. So, oh, okay, all right. So last question here. This is the last question. It's top of the hour. All right, I'm just going to read the question. How do file separate taxes? I guess that's how do we file separate taxes? I love it.
I mean, if you talk to your accountant, you can take all your business income on your personal tax return on the Schedule C, and if you do that, you're kind of filing your business and personal in one, which isn't the end of the world. You can still get the people money. The people that get the easier, cheaper money over the long haul, they just file their personal tax return if it's with their wife or whatever joint, or their husband joint, and then they file a totally separate business return. Instead of taking it on a Schedule C on your personal, you just file it separately. And it's, yeah, I mean, what's funny, if I had to start over again, I would have always done it that way. And for whatever reason, if you show no losses on either one, I'm telling you, you're going to have better. And when I talk about no losses, they don't give a damn if you have $1 worth of profit, $1 worth of profit and $1 worth of loss. That's a $2 difference, right? The difference is huge with the underwriters you end up talking to, with a $1 profit as opposed to a $1 loss. So the big thing is however you file it, hold that loss off if you can, and save it for 2 years from now. If you can file separate taxes and pay the accountant the double fees or whatever, you don't do the Schedule C on your personal. You just tell your accountant, they'll know, business tax return And if you show a profit on both of those things, for whatever reason, you make it through more. You make it through more of the bottlenecks with a lot of these lenders.
Excellent. That's excellent information. Okay, all right, all right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here's the last question. What are your options if you're operating your business behind a private trust?
Wow. I don't know what that means really, but the business must have an entity. Does it have a number? I mean, somebody like that needs to send an email to info@fundinghelpers.com. And as crazy as I am, I enjoy figuring that out because I would assume the business entity has its own number. And in that case, I don't care if it's behind a trust or on the other side of the moon or whatever we're talking about here. It's its own entity and it should be fine. If it's behind a trust,
It has an
to be honest with you,
EIN, Tom. It has
okay,
an EIN.
then it's an entity, and
Okay.
I can get that entity money. Period.
Okay. Cool. That's all we need. That's all we
Yeah.
needed to know. And ladies and gentlemen, again, that's why you ask the questions. That way
Yes.
you can
Good.
get the answers. Okay. Oh man, I keep saying the last question, and you guys. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. No more questions, please. If you're in the middle of typing a question, please, no more questions. All right. So, are lenders like banks or non-traditional? How long do we have to pay back the money, or it varies?
It totally varies. I mean, we get credit lines you just use over and over. You can use whenever. I mean, your average, if this was the question I'm thinking, your average installment loan's 3 to 5 years at this point, and that's when you pay it back that much. But most of the stuff, the smart people are getting revolving type money that you can use over and over, and there's you know indefinitely. As whenever you borrow it, you pay it back type thing.
Okay, cool. And then the credit site that you recommend, again, I know you said three of them, and which one is it again?
The creditchecktotal.com is hands down the best, and it costs $1. So it's just creditchecktotal.com is, and if you just Google credit check total or anything close to it, it'll pop up.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, you were totally awesome, and we totally appreciate you coming out this evening and supporting the webinar, gaining this insight, this knowledge, so that way you can plan out your business and plan out your future more appropriately. Again, I want to thank Ms. Deborah Burris, want to thank you, Mr. Tom, want to thank you, Mr. Ron, for coming out and sharing your expertise. Totally, totally awesome. We appreciate the value that you brought this evening to our community. So again, ladies and gentlemen, anybody with any more questions, go over to fundinghelpers.com. We gave you the email address to send your credit report into, and hey, I am not the credit man or the credit expert. Therefore, I found the experts for you, and they're going to assist you with reaching your goals. So have a wonderful evening. We'll see you next time. Jacque T. Morris, Atlanta's own shirt and tie guy. Have a great evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Jacque.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you.